Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we will do a reading. I was going to say an individual reading, but I mean a reading for Red Velvet and what will happen to them this new year, right? For 2021. And you guys may not really notice it because you are in the comfort of this little square rectangle. But I'm in a different place. I think the sound will be different. I'm not too sure. The light is definitely different. And I hope it works. My sister was telling me that I'm using Red Velvet as my guinea pig again, and I think I am. Because this is a different setup and I don't know how it's going to be, so I'm recording this right now. And then I'm going to edit right away and see how that feels. And I have so many thoughts in my mind right now and I can't really seem to put them together. They seem like so mundane. But you may notice that Yeti's right here and Irene's right there, and I did that because if I put Irene on this side and have like go from each order this way, then Irene's stone is gonna look yellow rather than pink. And if you have it here, you can barely notice it, but it's actually pink. You see? He's like a peachy, pink looking stone. But yeah, just putting that out there. The other thing is that we're going to ask 3 questions. How are they doing at the moment or in their current situation? Them, in this case, being Red Velvet. The next question will be for their career and it's what's in store for them this year. And the last one will be advice for Red Velvet. And these are the cards that we're using. I feel weird. It feels like I don't know what I'm doing. It feels like it's a whole new year. Who knows what's up? And even though this will not be the first video uploaded for the year, it's the first video I'm recording. And enough of the chit chat, let's just get into it. Oh wait, actually before that, did you guys see the SM concert live thingy, humanity global whatever it was? I forgot the name already, but did you guys see it? I thought it was nice to see that Wendy was back. So so the first question is, how is Red Velvet doing in the current moment and in their current situation? Okay, that's So far, we have the Devil, the Sun, 2 cards, the 9 of Cups, the Page of Wands, and the 6 of Swords. So it's weird. I think Red Velvet isn't... That was a hair? Gross? Okay. So it seems like Red Velvet is like in some sort of... Oh. It was out of focus. Seems like Red Velvet is in some sort of issue and they don't really know how to feel or what to think, because we have the Devil, the Sun. So it's kind of like the Devil card is, I'll put them right here in the middle. The Devil card is kind of like, oh, they're going through a difficult moment. There's probably some illusions or some things making them believe that things are harder, or making Red Velvet believe that life is very tough, even though it isn't. Because we have the Sun right next to them. So that makes me think that they're also very optimistic and looking forward to things. So I'm getting 2 things, right? The first one, the Devil, is that 2020 was a very difficult year for everyone, but for Red Velvet as a group, it was very, very difficult. Because not only was the virus an issue, Wendy was gone for pretty much the whole year, performance-wise. We had the whole thing with Irene, which was also very difficult. And I think the rest of them have been doing pretty well. Like Sulgi, I don't remember it. Well, maybe all the boys' problems that she may have. Like, I don't know why Sulgi always gets herself into issues with guys. Like, leave Sulgi alone. She does not like your man. Leave her alone. And then I don't think Yeti and Joy have had many issues. As in like people complaining about them. I don't know. But aside from that, there have been like many like little problems that have put Red Velvet in a situation where even the fans are like, oh, we may lose them, they may never come back. So if anything, the SM concert was actually very reassuring for people to see that Wendy was back, and that made like the group be complete, and then there's like more hope and everything. So if anything, that's the optimistic part of it, right? Even though 2020 was a very difficult year, you have 2021 that seems to be a very promising year for everyone. I do feel that the energy is going to be lighter for 2021. And by lighter, I feel that it's kind of a stretch. I feel that just because we're in a different year, it doesn't mean that everything that happened last year is gone. It just means that it is transformed. And what I mean by transformed is that we're entering a year. Now, this is for everyone, right? This is for everyone watching, all the other groups, and of course for Red Velvet as well. We're reaching a point where we're kind of like in trial, right? The people learn the lessons that they had to learn. I mean, that's why 2020 was a very difficult year for everyone. It was a period for all of us to reflect, right? The world stopped in a way for all of us to just start doing that inner work. And it was not easy for everyone. It was very difficult for everyone, I guess. Of course, relative. But the sun tells me that a lot of people see this new year as like, very hopeful thing, right? But it still is a year of change. So even though it feels like also Red Velvet is seeing this new year as more optimistic or trying to be a lot more happier and be their true selves in a way, because the sun is about the self, it tells me that like the energy I feel for this new year, it feels like it's kind of like it's not going to, just because it may be a little bit better than 2020, it doesn't make it that it's going to be like the best year we're all going to have. And for Red Velvet, I think it's all about the mind with them. And by that, I mean that it could be a very satisfying year as much as it could be a very difficult year, depending on where they're standing. Because we have the Nine of Cups, so that tells me that it could be a very satisfying year for all of the members. It could be a year where everything is accomplished. It could be a year where everyone's content and happy, their dreams are coming true, they're satisfied. Because if you see right here, that cat ate the bird, and the cat is very happy and content. But the other message that I got, which is kind of like, why did I get the message, was that there could be a chance that Red Velvet is the bird in this case. So by trying to free themselves and fly high to achieve their dreams, they may find struggles. And in this case, be in the tummy of somebody else. What? That sounds a bit like weird, right? But that's kind of what I'm going for. Like, it could be a very good year as much as it could be a very difficult year. And here's the thing, since there's 5 members and I'm connecting to all of Red Velvet, right? It feels like for some of them it's going to be a very healing year. It's going to be very good. It's going to be great. But for others, it seems like it's still going to be very difficult. Because we have the Page of Wands and the Six of Swords. So the Page of Wands reverse tells me that many of them may find it very difficult to take action and move forward. And if that's the case, they're going to be in this stuck energy, and hopefully it's not in the stuck energy of the devil. Usually, again, as I mentioned, the devil is when someone feels like there's illusions that blind their sight, and it gets in the way of seeing their self-power, seeing their strength, and seeing how good that they have the power to destroy all of that conflict and move into a more comfortable state. And we have the Six of Swords reverse. So usually the Six of Swords tells me that usually the Six of Swords means someone that is leaving the rocky waters and entering a time or period where they're a little bit more happier, more content, because everything is relaxed and calm. However, with it being reversed, it tells me that many of them, even if they want to reach a moment in a state of being calm and relaxed, it will be very difficult. And if anything, if some of the Red Velvet members don't listen to that inner voice that tells them, go for it, take action, achieve your dreams, they may not necessarily lose their opportunity as much as they will have to go through a cycle to get that chance again. And what I mean by go through a cycle, I mean like, let's say you want to get a specific goal, but you don't feel worthy of it, so you lose a chance to, or you don't accept the help that someone is offering you to achieve that goal. So by rejecting it, you go through another transformation, which will be the Six of Swords, and that transformation kind of shows or means that you have to go through, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a super difficult moment, but difficult enough for the person to learn their lesson and be able to take the opportunity and achieve their goal, right? So if someone in Red Velvet, or it could be all of them, if they don't take the chance on whatever opportunities life is offering them, they will reach a point or they will have to go through difficulties again. So to me, it feels kind of split, right? In a way, it kind of feels like this is how I should have the cards, right? It feels like some of them will go through a difficult moment, which is the Devil right here. And that could mean that if they continue blinding themselves to the opportunities life has for them, if they continue like feeling tied up and confused, which there's nothing wrong with being confused, but if you stay in that energy and ignore that inner voice that is telling you, go for it, achieve your dreams, this is the time, take a chance and go for it, then they will have to go through cycles again to heal whatever it is that they have to heal, or whatever it is that got in the way that they couldn't take action for whatever dream or goal they have in mind. And on the other side, we have the Sun. So for some of them, it feels like it's going to be a very, very good year. So it's kind of weird, right? Like, the energy feels clearly split, right? We have learned further lessons, or on the other side, be very optimistic because your dreams are coming true. That's kind of like the energy that I'm getting. And I kind of want to snoop around a little bit more. So with that, I am going to take out animal cards to see what energy we have for all of the Red Velvet members. Yeah, all of the Red Velvet members. I feel like I'm not saying Red Velvet right. That's because I'm tired. So we're going to take out one card to see what current energy does Irene have. Oh, that is true. We're talking about their current energy, and I'm already talking about like the future. So yeah, currently some of them are seeing how difficult things are, and the other half are pretty content with what life has offered them. I'm pretty satisfied. So with that, I'm going to see in what current stage everyone is. And I'm going to take out one card for each member. Imagine when I do this for 17, bro. I don't think I'll have space to show all 13 cards. Anyway, so let's see. What current energy does Irene have? Let's see. Irene, Sergi, Wendy, Joy, and Yeti. Okay. Is this struggle to stretch around? So right now, Irene has the energy of the firefly. Sergi has the energy of a butterfly. Wendy has the energy of a fire ant. Joy has the energy of a deer, and Yeti has the energy of a panther. Hold up. I'm trying to see how do I set everything up. Put this here. Put this here. Because it has to be pretty. Because that's how I am. Put this one up here. So let's see. So right away, it kind of feels like right now, Irene is trying to be optimistic and find her own light towards this very difficult period that she's going through. I mean, it still feels like she's in the shadows or trying to keep herself hidden and trying to try to calm, like, it feels like she's waiting for the waters to calm down a little bit. I don't think Irene did anything too bad necessarily with her scandal, but it got so out of hand that, wanted or not, it will be difficult for her to come back, especially since she apologized. Because you know what that means. When you apologize, you admit to have done something wrong, right? And even if she did nothing too wrong, I mean, we all get mad and everything, but by saying, hey guys, I am sorry for my mistakes, I will grow and everything, it kind of shows that maybe there was some truth to what that person said, and that makes it very easy for everyone to just blow it out of proportion, right? So to me, it feels like that energy of that scandal and all those issues that kind of brought up to her, losing a lot of, not necessarily losing opportunities as much as it's like we need to keep her hidden, and because of that there's a lot of lost opportunities, right? And this took a hit to her reputation, and I don't know how it's going to heal in the future, but we have air, and we have all of that darkness. All of that darkness is all of the difficulties that Irene is facing at the moment. And that air tells me that she is in a period right now where she is trying to learn how to communicate all of these issues, or she's trying to understand them better in a more intellectual way rather than a fiery, how do we take action, or an earthy, how do we heal and deal with this problem, or a watery way, which could be like, how do I feel about the situation, how do people feel about this, and so on, so on. So this tells me that right now Irene is trying to heal, or at the moment she's trying to find her light again, or find her guidance, or find the path that she feels comfortable taking, and she feels very small. This firefly tells me that right now she feels like she can't get external help to her issue, and if anything, she has to find the motivation from within, the confidence from within. Fireflies make their own light, and they glow. They're not like flashlights, like you can't really have them and like make things reflect from the light that they're putting out. They're glowing, and that means that you can see them, but if you have them very up close, they don't really work like a flashlight. That's kind of how I see light and glow. That's a bit different, right? So yeah, to me, it feels like Irene is trying to gain that confidence again, and it comes from within. So it seems like she's talking to herself and connecting to herself in a way to understand how things are and how she feels about them, and also try to see how she thinks about the situation, how to help herself with all of these issues. I was talking to my sister, my older sister, since she's a fan, and she was telling me how Irene has a moon in Virgo, and if that's the case, she may be having to deal with a lot of nervousness, a lot of energy of trying not to be too self-critical about the situation, and trying to calm her nerves a little bit. So if anything, I think Irene is trying very hard to find the passion within her, or the motivation within her, or the confidence within her to glow again and be under the spotlight once again. But right now, it seems like her world is a little bit too negative or too dark for her. And when I mean dark for her, I mean that there's still a lot of pressure, and I think the whole thing with the scandal and the issues that brought with it is a little bit too fresh still for her. But let's go on to something a little bit better, lighter energy, a better situation. We have Sulgi, and currently her energy is of a butterfly, which I am not surprised at all. We have air energy again, so communication, intellectual stuff, balance. One thing that I just got right now, balance. Seems like Sulgi's trying to balance something within her, and that's transformation, right? Trying to find a balance with. I feel that with Sulgi, the balance is something that she has always been struggling with, and that is her public image and her emotions, right? I feel that, and here's the thing, what I mean by that is not that she has more one of the other, is that she doesn't really know how to make both of them work together at the same time. Because I feel that Sulgi has this thing where she is emotional, she is sensitive, she doesn't ignore her emotions, right? Like she's healthy in that sense, right? But the thing is that it seems like she struggles to bring that with her into her career. And right now her career is being an artist, being an idol, dancing, singing, all of that, right? Like I think Sulgi struggles a little bit to carry that part of herself into her dances, or into her singing, or into anything involving her career right now and her image. And I think she is trying to find a balance within that, right? Because the fact that her career is related to the arts, she kind of does need to be connected to her emotions, because by creating a piece of art that carries her emotions, it will make it a lot stronger, a lot deeper, and it will create a foundation that is going to start resonating to other people that may feel similarly to her, and like that her career will be even more successful. So I think this is just the normal thing that Sulgi has been going through, and currently she's still in that situation, still trying to figure out that balance, and if not, slowly transforming into that higher version of herself, transforming into the one that is able to wow all of the fans out there, but also the one that is able to put her heart out into the stage. So if anything, I think Sulgi is going through the path that she has to go. I mean, they all are technically, But to Surgi, it kind of feels like she's just going to go through the normal things and not much of the external difficulties added onto her. So remember how I mentioned that when someone doesn't pay attention to that inner voice that says go for it, you have to go through like a similar cycle again, so you can be presented to this opportunity and take it the next time, right? Because you finally healed what you had to heal, or if not, go again through that cycle so you can heal it. And with Surgi, it kind of feels that she doesn't have to repeat the cycle as much as like she's just slowly taking her time and getting things done. So yeah. The next person we have is Wendy. So the fire ant tells me that she's still working very hard to put herself together, which is a word that I usually heard for myself. It feels like to me that she's still trying, she's currently in the energy or in the situation or stage where she still has to bring all of the parts of herself. And you may think, physically she's complete. But what I mean is like bringing your emotions, your spiritual side, your thoughts, and make sure that they all kind of work in the same alignment with your views and your career and your environment. Like it feels like Wendy is still not complete. Because to me, the fire ant is like a bunch of pieces coming together to work together, right? And we have red, orange, and yellow. So it's all to ground herself. It's all to give her confidence. It's all to give her the fire and the passion that she needs to feel confident again. And to have a motivation to continue living. I'm not saying that as in she's like having some weird thoughts as much as I'm just saying. So she has like a path, a light, or a guidance as to where to take the next step. So we have fire as well. So it feels like all of these things are coming together so Wendy can start taking action towards something. I felt like that was this is like the biggest thing with Red Velvet, like the theme. Do you take action or not? And it seems like that's like a common thing. So right now it feels like Wendy and Irene are in a similar situation, which is on this side. And to me, it feels like Surgi passed the test and now she's on this side, right? Starting to make her dreams come true, starting to feel a bit more positive and more happy and optimistic, right? And with that, we're gonna go on to the next person, which is Joy. She has earthy energy, which I'm not surprised, and she has a lot of green. And the deer tells me that there's this sense of innocence connecting with her heart and her emotions and who she truly is. And I think Joy is doing a very good job with just being completely honest with like, this is how I feel, this is how I see things, this is how I ground herself, right? It feels like that's the thing with her. Like she's grounding herself and rooting herself and finding stability and centering herself with her heart. And if that's the case, she's doing a fantastic job. So if anything, she's also on this side. It feels like Joy has been doing the healing that she has to do. She's been doing the spiritual work that has to be done for her to stop and end her own cycles. So if anything, I think Joy is doing a pretty good job. And if that's the case, I think a lot of beautiful things are going to be coming up for her. But I think that it does, just because things are looking pretty good for Joy, it does not mean that it has been a very easy year for her. I think 2020 was a very difficult year for her. A lot of existential crisis and issues that she may have had, that she's finally kind of like coming into terms with herself and be like, okay, how do we go up from here? And next, which I think it could be good or bad, right? Yeti is in the Panther spirit, so that tells me that she's leaning more towards this negative-ish side, right? So we kind of have like, seems like the only ones that are doing pretty good for themselves are Surgi and Joy. So good for them, but the other ones are kind of struggling a little bit, because with Yeti we have fire again, so trying to take action and getting things done. But this Panther feels very aggressive to me in this sense. It doesn't feel like someone that's trying to protect something. It actually feels like someone that is always, I have the word in Spanish, but I don't have the word in English, that is always kind of like defensive. So if someone ever mentions something and triggers anything in this person, which in this case is Yeti, then it kind of tells me that she will instantly get mad. So to me, it feels like her default emotion right now is anger. There you go, that's the word I was looking for. And she's very hostile. She seems to, it's weird, right? When I saw Yeti in the concert, to me it felt like she blended in the background, and I was very surprised because I was like, why can't I not see Yeti, my queen? right? If anything, I think I was telling my sister that I think I was distracted by Sogyu's hairstyle because she looked very cute and adorable, and I don't know. But, right, putting that all out the way, to me, it feels like Yeti could learn a little bit from Joy in this case. Why? They both have green. And to me, it feels like Joy is doing a very good job at centering in her heart space. And right now, Yeti, you see the green in the eyes of the panther, which, let me bring them up a little bit. You see the green in the eyes of the panther, and then the green all around the deer, which of course you could see that one, but you couldn't see the eyes that well. And to me, it feels like similar to Irene, Yeti seems to be in a very difficult and dark place. In this case, when I mean dark, I do mean like negative place, pity party, sadness, maybe even depression. I'm not too sure, but like it's just very low and not a very happy, positive energy. It's very negative. It's very like it brings you down a little bit, and I think that, you know, like it pulls your heart. Like I feel like my heart is sinking a little bit with feeling the energy that Yeti has for herself. But it feels like if like Yeti wants to take action because we have fire, she's very hostile. Like she doesn't want some sort of change that is going in her life, or if anyone points out anything wrong that she's doing, she will get kind of like, ooh, like she will kind of like pull her energy in and like, you know, trying to restrain herself from like going like pouncing and attack. Like I feel like right now Yeti is very quick to anger, but she doesn't have to express it or say it. But it's Yeti, she will definitely show it and express it. But you know, it could be someone that just gets so angry or whatever, or like it's so overwhelming. Whatever situation Yeti's going through, it's so overwhelming that it has caused her to be very aggressive and hostile. I don't think it doesn't necessarily. I feel some people may be asking, do you think Yeti's gonna be hostile to the group? I highly doubt it. I feel that when the group is all together, they're right now in a very calm state. So if anything, I think Yeti is just reaching. When she's with the group, she calms herself down, or no one does anything to push each other's buttons. I think since 3 of them are still like down down that rabbit hole of like sadness and difficulties, I think not many of them are pushing each other's buttons. They may try. If anything, I think everyone's trying to calm down to be very welcoming to Wendy, and if that's the case, it has brought a balance into the group to maintain stability and make sure no one's fighting, making sure that no one's like getting in everybody's business, trying to heal everyone. It's more like everyone's doing their own thing, and if we can help, we will help. But if we can't, and the other person doesn't want to talk about it, we won't. So if anything, I think Red Velvet has a very healthy connection right now, and being very supportive to each other. And because of that, everyone that's going through the transformations is going through them on their own, and some people being a little bit more successful than others right now. But with that, I will go on to the very interesting question, which is, what is in store for Red Velvet this 2021? What's in store for Red Velvet's career this 2021? What's in store for Red Velvet? Come back. I don't know. I'll ask. I'm pretty sure Red Velvet's gonna have a comeback this 2021. Let's see what energies we have. What's in store for Red Velvet's career this 2021? Oh wow. 2 air signs. So we have the Angel of Divinations and Angel of Silence, and then we have Aquarius and Libra. Okay, so even though Wendy is back, Red Velvet will have a very spiritual journey this year, or if anything, they will have a lot of moments where they have to be in silence. They will have to connect with themselves, be with themselves. So we have two air signs. So the energy that Red Velvet has for their career is Libra and Aquarius, which are again, air signs. So communication is going to be huge for their career. Seems like I feel that there might be a lot of interactions between Red Velvet and the general public, media, and of course the fans. There's this Angel of Divination and the Angel of Silence feels like there's a lot of feminine energy, which of course I'm not surprised. Red Velvet are all pretty heavy on their feminine energy. I feel like the only ones that kind of touch into that masculine energy is Joy and Sulki. They're the only ones that kind of are not afraid to connect to that side of themselves. The one that the one that is a little bit more forward, the one that is a little bit to the point, and just taking action in general. But with the rest of the group, I feel that balance is going to be a very, very big thing, and it's all about other people, if that makes sense, because Libra and Aquarius are in the second half of the zodiac, and that is more about the general public, the people, what can we provide to everybody else, or what do we want to give to everybody else, right? So it's more about the other rather than the self. So I do feel that in Red Velvet's career, there's going to be a lot of beauty, there's going to be a lot of communication and new things. So if anything, I think I'm going to ask if Red Velvet is going to have a comeback, which I do have the deck for that, which I have to think. So will Red Velvet have a comeback in 2021? Oh, that was very quick. Yes, Red Velvet will have a comeback in 2021, which I mean, I mentioned earlier that that's kind of what I thought, but sorry. But I kind of wanted to ask just to double check. And yeah, Red Velvet will have a comeback. We have the Four of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Fool. So I think this means that a lot of the Red Velvet will be the queens that are coming back. And why do I say queens? Because we have the Queen of Cups. So I have a feeling that I'm kind of like half and half. Because I don't know if the Queen of Cups tells me that everyone is going to be super emotional when Red Velvet has their comeback, or that Red Velvet will have a comeback and it's going to be like a ballad. It's going to be like a Velvet type of concept. Because it feels like it could be like a song that is meant to hit everyone's emotions. It's meant to connect people. It's meant to bring everyone together. It's supposed to... I don't know if that concept is that, or Red Velvet's going to take like a red concept and it's going to be very hype, very everything, and everyone is going to still feel connected together and emotional. You know, I can almost imagine everyone on Twitter like just putting like a bunch of like crying emojis or whatever. You just kind of saying and expressing how happy they are that Red Velvet is back, expressing how emotional they felt with, you know, the comeback and everything. So if anything, it kind of feels like there's a lot of emotions. Emotions are running very, very high with this comeback. Of course, it has been highly anticipated for all the Rebel Loves out there, but it also feels like the all of Red Velvet themselves also will feel emotional with this comeback. So I think it's going to be a very, very important thing for everyone involved. And the Four of Cups tells me that it's going to be a very good distraction, or it feels like this comeback is going to help a lot of people distract themselves from their issues, which I think that kind of involves the Red Velvet members themselves too. We have the Angel of Divination and the Angel of Silence. So I was saying that many of them will have a lot of periods where they have to deal with themselves and continue dealing with whatever issues they have to deal with, or continue planning and thinking of what actions they're going to be taking into the future. So there's a lot of like, not necessarily time out, but more as in like time to think of what's the next step, what am I going to do, how do I feel, that type of feeling. And the Angel of Divination tells me that many of them are going to start connecting into their life purpose, or connecting into their goals, their life goals, or connecting into like the higher purpose, or connecting to a higher, not higher importance, what am I looking for, but feels like they're finally doing what they're meant to do. But whatever that is, it's something that is meant to help other people, of course, balance themselves and other people, if that makes sense. Because there's a sense of balance. So it's like giving other people and also taking back in return, or giving to other people and also giving that in exchange to yourself. So there's a sense of balance. Aquarius has always been shown in this card as having a balance of fire, water, and Aquarius itself is air. So having that balance in all of the metal will technically be earth, if you want to put it that way. I feel that's a little bit of a stretch for me, but in this case it makes sense. So you have the balance of all the elements. So it feels like Red Velvet's comeback is going to help stabilize a lot of them. It's going to help everyone work together as a group and work into new goals and projects, do something different, be innovative, trying new ideas, and being very good at communicating that to other people. It feels like balancing themselves as well is going to be very important, and whatever concept they have is going to help others and balance other people. And we have the full reverse, which I haven't really talked about it, because to me it feels like a lot of people are going through many difficulties and issues in taking that step and believing in life having your back, or believing that things are just going to turn out well or in your favor, or whatever is going to happen has to happen, right? So to me it feels like the full reverse tells me that a lot of people are going through that struggle. Red Velvet themselves, like Red Velvet included, right? Like everyone that is going to hear about this song or this comeback, and everyone involved in it is going to have a lot of issues, or are going to start noticing and realizing that they're not taking that step forward, or they're not taking action towards what they want, or they just are not trusting that things will get better, or that life is on their side and stuff like that. So if anything, there's a lot of focus in the Queen of Cups, which I think will be, in this case, represents Red Velvet. The Libra card tells me that there's also a lot of balance, a lot of beauty and healing. It feels like the healing that I'm feeling from this comeback is like working with other people. It also feels like it's the healing of being there for each other, the healing of learning from each other and helping each other out, right? Because to me, it feels like we're finally trying to find some harmony. We're trying to, with ourselves and with our environment. It feels like there's going to be a calm energy going, like a blanket that's covering all of the people involved in this. Like everyone's going to be at peace for a little bit of time. And again, this Four of Cups feels like a distraction, right? Like, so I don't know if that distraction will be that people will have this comeback as a way to distract themselves from their issues, but it's going to help everyone see whatever issues it is that they're trying to avoid. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't really feel like this Four of Cups is telling me that everyone's going to be distracted somehow. If anything, it feels like one thing that I got, the comeback could be used as a distraction from maybe something else that SM wants to cover up. Who knows what that is? Maybe SM is trying to cover up that they're losing money. I was kidding. Okay. But yeah, it feels like there's like a help that is coming towards you in this case, be the viewer or something, and like that help will be the comeback. Like there's a healing energy that Red Velvet's going to put out for everyone, and I think that is actually very good. And again, I think Red Velvet's gonna have a very elegant yet quirky, like it's gonna have something about the comeback that it's them. Like it's something that, who knows, maybe we're gonna see the round table, maybe Red Velvet's gonna be dressed in their colors, or maybe they're going to be like almost killing each other, but not. That's like the quirky side of like the Red Velvet videos, right? But that Libra energy tells me that it's gonna be very elegant, very balanced, very beautiful, and keeping harmony. And also, it feels like working together. It feels like there's this very strong concept of working together, which I don't know if that's like the energy that Red Velvet has right now that they're working on that comeback, or if it is the message that they're trying to convey with this comeback. I'm not too sure. Right? Like I don't know how involved Red Velvet is with their stuff. I don't know how much SM cares about giving that type of messages. I'm not too sure. I mean, I say that after they had like their concert that was supposed to help humanity after difficult times, which mind you guys, it was a free concert. My sister was always making fun of it, being like, oh, SM is putting a high emphasis on how free this concert is. That was kind of funny. So yeah. Let me see, what other thing do I want to know? Do people want to know what individual thing that we have for each member career-wise? I asked that as if you guys were right here, right? But I'm gonna do it anyway. So let's see. If you heard knocking or something in the video, that was my sister saying, "We want to know. We want the answers." That was supposedly a sign of, yes, you should do it. So I'm going to take out one card for each Red Velvet member once again to see what's in store for them career-wise. So we're going to start with Irene. I want one card. Irene. Sulgi. I love you, Sulgi, but how many cards do you give me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She gave me 5. I won 1. Okay, I'll take that one. I say that, and then it's almost like, let me take another one. And I'll take the... We'll see the beginning and the end with Sulgi. Here, we will not go in depth with the other cards that Sulgi got, but let me show you the ones that were in the middle. Six of Pentacles reversed, the Eight of Swords reversed, and the Two of Cups upright. So I'll leave that there for anyone that knows how they work and understands them, but I'll put them away so we will not go in depth with Sulgi's cards right now. And I'm going to keep them like that. It feels like I want to get surprised when I see Sulgi's cards. But now let's see what's in store for Wendy's career for 2021. Okay, we have the Tower. Rough. Okay, what's in store for yours' career in 2021? The Empress. What's in store for Yeti's career for 2021? Okay, that one looks at me kind of funny. Just kidding. The card just jumped and I was like, I'll take that one. So, let's go in that order. Let's see. So, what's in store for Irene's career this 2021? We have the Two of Wands, so that feels expansion of business. So all of the Irene fans, you know, all of you out there that may be worried to what's going to happen to Irene, is her career destroyed, is it over? Hell nah. We have the Two of Wands, so that tells me that right now she has the world at her hands. And I think when I mean the world, I mean the business world. What I mean by that, again, it's like, a footnote to the footnote to the footnote. That's kind of how it felt right now. The Two of Wands tells me that she is thinking of expanding. Okay, no, she may not be thinking of that, but life is thinking of helping Irene expand into further horizons. The Two of Wands usually means someone that is has the world in their hand and is ready to look forward and expand their business. I feel this is definitely business because we're talking about her career, but it feels like Irene is already late thinking, or life is moving the energies to help Irene expand. But right now it's a moment of like, maybe for 2021 everything will be very calm. You guys may not see Irene as often, but when it takes off, it's gonna take off. So whenever life is ready to make Irene just continue expanding and moving forward in her career, it's going to be a boom. So a lot of stuff. We're gonna see Irene even in her soup, in the cereal, in the toilet papers. We're gonna see Irene's face in makeup, TVs, I don't know. All forms of advertising. I'll leave Sulgi last. Like, I have a feeling that I'm gonna be so excited for Sulgi's, so I'll leave her last. So next we have Wendy. So for Wendy's career, it feels like what life has in store for her is a lot of difficult moments, because we have the Tower. But this difficult moment had to happen and they had to pass. It's kind of like if Wendy was like, I wish to become a better person, or I wish to be happy with my career, and life was like, okay, since you were not super specific but you gave us the gist of what you wanted, we're gonna give it to you. And yes, she will be happy with her career, but if that's the case, she has to open her eyes to a lot of the things that don't make her unhappy, or whatever is getting in the way of her happiness. And because of that, we have the Tower. The Tower, as I've mentioned before, is getting rid of whatever building, whatever foundation you have, so you can build it again in a stronger foundation. So it's kind of getting rid of the old and bringing in the new. So it's kind of like life is giving Wendy a clear state in her career to start building everything block by block, brick by brick, starting from a strong foundation, so she can build an even stronger tower, a more happy one. So it's more of Wendy's current energy rather than whatever she felt like she had to do at the moment, right? So this is Wendy's tower. It's not the tower Wendy is in, it is the tower Wendy built, if that makes sense. So seems like for her career, Wendy's going to go through many difficult moments. It's not going to be easy, but it will definitely be for her own good. You know, it's kind of like when Wendy was hitting a vegetable in Sulgi's food and was like, eat it, ha. And then Sulgi feels so betrayed. That's how Wendy's going to feel. It's going to be like, I want something good. And then life is going to like hide that vegetable in all the food. And then Wendy's going to eat it and be like, I feel so betrayed. But that's just how it had to be. They have to get rid of all of the old, all of the negative, all of the things that doesn't work for Wendy. So she can start rebuilding everything from zero. And even though that's difficult, she's at least allowing herself to have more space and more room to fill her space in, or her tower in this case, fill it in with all of the good things and all of that she desires. And with that, I'm going to go with Joy. That seems to be having an even better energy because we have the Empress. So for her career, for Joy, is that she's just going to be beautiful. She's going to feel powerful. She's going to feel beautiful. She's going to feel confident. And all of that orange that we have here tells me that Joy is going to be filled with motivation, drive, and passion this 2021. And all of that, and all of this is going to help a lot with her self-esteem, her image, and her self-worth. So her career for 2021 is going to be so good and so positive. And that doesn't mean that she's going to be like earning big bucks, or we're going to see her everywhere, or she's going to be working like crazy. Well, actually, working like crazy may be one of them, because Joy seems to feel happy to work like crazy. So, you know, I guess a workaholic she is. But all the butterflies tells me that Joy is going to have a lot of transformations, and she's going to look happier, she's going to look prettier. So it seems like 2021 is going to be a very, very good year for Joy. I'm so happy. And for Yeti, we have the Three of Cups. So for Yeti's her career for 2021, it feels like Yeti's going to have a lot of happy moments, a lot of achievements and accomplishments are going to happen and are going to go through. A lot of celebration with friends, family, and of course the members. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of successes for 2021 and for Yeti in 2021. So it feels like she's going to be working with people and they're going to be successful. I just got an image of Yeti hanging out with friends or going for a drink, and then she meets like a famous producer, or she meets someone that's going to help her expand her business. So it feels like while Yeti is just celebrating in her own happiness and her own accomplishments, she's going to meet even more people to continue accomplishing and becoming better and improving her career. So I do think that there's a lot of good things for Yeti's career, and I was so afraid it was going to be something bad since she got the Panther, and to me it felt like Yeti is still trying to protect herself, to protect her vulnerability in a way that she's always like fighting other people, right? And that's why she's so aggressive, because she's trying to protect herself. And that's the way that she wants to protect, or well, she feels she has to protect herself, right? But with the Three of Cups, it tells me that there's a lot of happiness, a lot of good things. It feels like she's going to be working with other people, which that's usually not what I see with the Three of Cups. It usually feels like, ooh, let's celebrate and party, woohoo. But in this case, since it's about career, I do feel that Yeti's going to start making very strong emotional connections with people. And these are the type of relationships that are long-lasting and beneficial for her career. So that's good. I'm happy for Yeti. But now let's look for Sulgi, which I'm looking at it. So I'm expecting a lot of good things for Sulgi. So let's see what these cards mean, right? The beginning and the end of the other three cards that I showed earlier. We have Justice. And we have the Hermit. Big things for Sulgi. Because we have two, aside from having like two cards, we have two major arcana. So these are like big checkpoints in her life. Things that she has to go through and things that she has to learn. And let's see. So the Justice card seems like this Libra energy that we felt for the whole group is going to be highly influenced because it's supposed to benefit Sulgi the most. Why? Because she has Justice, and Justice is a Libra card. And the Hermit is a Virgo card. So we have like two back-to-back. So I have a feeling that right now Sulgi is going from one stage to the other. And what do I mean by that? Because Virgo is right before Libra in the astrology order. And to me, it feels like Sulgi is leaving this hermit mode. So she had the butterfly, right? So Sulgi is going from a moment of leaving the Virgo energy of self-healing, self-criticism, being of service to other people and to the self. Again, healing, being in that pensive mode, grounding her energy, working hard, and she's going into that justice energy. She is transforming, because again, we see more butterflies. We see butterflies here, 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 and there's wings. So I feel that there's a strong transformation for Sulgi. There's a lot of changes, and if you see the Libra card right here, the hair is like moving up, or like it's like flying up, and here the Justice card has that as well. So to me, it feels like Sulgi has found the light that is guiding her down her life purpose. Maybe that's why we have Aquarius here. So maybe these two cards tell me that right now, whatever energy Sulgi has is going to be the one that is going to pull the group forward in the direction that they have to go to. So there's a lot of energy that Sulgi carries with her right now that is going to be the driving force for the concept and the energy that Red Velvet's going to be having for 2021 in their career. So it seems like, it's almost seems like when someone is happy, everyone around them also is happy. So in this case, it's like if Sulgi is successful, everybody else in the group will be successful. In this case, of course, it doesn't mean that the other ones are not successful themselves. It's like whatever energy Sulgi has will motivate the rest, or will push the other ones to do what they're desiring, whatever. Like it feels like Sulgi is doing something so good for herself that in 2021 that it will reflect in her career, and it will be so good that it will motivate everybody else around her to try and do the same for themselves. So that's a very good cards. She got two. Special Sulgi, right? Like, I'm so happy for Sulgi, because it feels like, how I mentioned that that butterfly told me that she was like struggling to like connect her emotions and bring those into her career, which is her public image, her artist, idol, career, life type of style area of her life. There you go. And to me, it feels like Sulgi is going through big transformations, and we're all going to see it. I don't know when or how that's going to show or manifest, but it feels like it's more like we're all going to just feel the power that Sulgi has. We're all going to feel her confidence, her balance of masculine and feminine energy. Even though air is masculine energy, air and fire are masculine energy, and then water and earth are feminine energies. But for each sign, it's kind of different, right? You don't look at a Capricorn and go like, oh, that looks like a very feminine sign. No, to me, it's very masculine, because it's the father of the zodiac. So whatever, putting all that aside, that tells me that Sulgi is going to have a very, very, very good, like, a lot of good things seem to be coming to Sulgi this year. But I think there's a lot of good things happening for Sulgi this year, because she did a lot of work in 2020. She had to step up a lot, take the leadership role, make a lot of sacrifices and move forward, not only in herself but in her career. I think that not having Wendy for a very long time kind of caused Sulgi to push herself forward in the sense of carrying the group when Wendy was not there, being the leader when Irene could not be there. And when I say could not be there, is like right now Irene is still in hiding mode, so Sulgi kind of has to step up and be like, okay, I'm gonna speak for everyone. And also I feel that when you had the subunit with Sulgi and Irene, the one that was kind of leading forward was Sulgi, not because Irene is not a good leader, but because in their career, Sulgi is so career focused and so concentrated in that area of her life that she's always going to be constantly moving forward. Right now, my sister kind of stepped in and was like, do you want some water? And then was like, do you want a cough drop? Because right now, I've been speaking so much and my throat is kind of hurting, it's drying up. But with that all aside, I'm going to leave that there and go on to the third question, which is what advice we have for Red Velvet, because I do feel there's a lot of good things, and I feel that Sulgi has been focusing so much into her career that she's just succeeding right now, right? She's been putting in the work, and that's why life is like, we can reward you because you're not you're accepting the rewards we're giving you. You're not getting on the way of your own self, and because of that, they can do that. And that's why I was mentioning that Surugi kind of has to step in as a leader sometimes for Irene, not because Irene is a bad leader, but because their leadership is different, right? Irene does what she has to do, but the one that seems to be very motivated to move forward in their career in the idol side is Surugi. She's like the one that is like, oh, I have no baggage right now, and I want to succeed with my singing, with my dancing, with my self-image as an idol, and all of that. Which I do feel that with Irene, her goals are a little bit different. I feel that Irene is focusing more on her self-image because that's what she's leaving off right now. Does that make sense? I don't feel that Irene is concentrated on trying to sing for the group or dance. Like, she just gets the work done and that's good, but it seems like right now she's still focusing more on like the visual side of things, right? Advertising, everything. Right? And since that's good business for Irene, she doesn't have to focus on anything else right now. She's doing well. So what advice do we have for Red Velvet for this 2021? Let's see what advice we have for the girls. I haven't used this card in so long. What further advice do we have for Red Velvet 2021? Is that the buffalo that makes me think of Surugi? Every time I see a buffalo, I think of Surugi now. I've been thinking of that buffalo a lot lately. There you go. I'll take all of those. Let's go for it. Let's see what we have for... So, for Red Velvet right now, the advice that we have is the cow... I said we. Like, I guess me and my spirit guides. I don't know why I say we. So anyway, so we have this cow... Can you tell I'm tired? I'm reaching my 5D. So anyway, we have the cow spirit. The miracles are endless. So I do feel there's a lot of blessings coming for Red Velvet this 2021. But a lot of them have to do a lot of healing and a lot of hard work to allow themselves to receive those blessings and those gifts that life has for them. I do feel that that's the problem that many of us have. So the other card that we have is the Owl Spirit. You see clearly now. So I do have a feeling that this is... It's funny, right? Like, it doesn't feel like it's a healing message of you're going to start understanding things for Red Velvet. It feels more like it's law. It's going to happen. It's kind of like the advice that Red Velvet has, or that it's coming their way. It's kind of like you now have the tools. You had a whole year to reflect on yourself and on what you want to do in life, and so on and so on. And now you see things clearly. You have a higher perspective. You have the wisdom. You have the stability. Well, stability is going to be relative because you can see that some of the members are having a very tough time, while other of the members seem to be pretty good. Not because they had it easier as much as it's just like they were able to go through the cycles that they had to go through to understand themselves better and so on. So I feel that there's like this grounding energy of the cow spirit tells me that there's gonna have a lot. The group Red Velvet's going to have a lot of abundance, a lot of stability, a lot of grounding energy, and it's almost like a promise that life is giving Red Velvet of like things are going to be better and they're going to get good, and you guys are going to be very successful and do well for yourselves as a group, right? Individually, everyone has their own things to go through that I highly doubt will intervene with their career as much as it's kind of like maybe when they're on stage they'll have a bit of like they may struggle a little bit to feel good about themselves or feel good about the stage, but they'll get it done, right? So nothing will in 2021 will necessarily intervene with Red Velvet as a whole, but individually maybe some of them will be going through rough times and stuff, but it doesn't get in the way of their comebacks, their career, their group activities. If anything, I think their group activities will be a good distraction to those members that are having a difficult time to distract themselves from those difficult times. So in a way they're all kind of helping each other and healing each other, right? The ones that are doing well are setting a good example to help and heal the rest that are kind of like having a rough time right now. So I do feel that the advice in this case, it's not like advice of or a suggestion of you should do this. It's like it's going to happen. Everyone in Red Velvet will see things a lot more clear. They're going to understand everything a little better, especially because they're understanding themselves. Then we have the Giraffe Spirit. You see the big picture. So I think these two cards kind of go well together, right? Like seeing things from a higher perspective. And when I mean a higher perspective is like not only seeing the situation they're in, but then understanding and applying it to how it will affect them in the future, or how it will work with the environment they're in, or how it will affect the people around them. So like it's kind of like whatever understanding Red Velvet has now, individually and as a group, it's helping them see things from a different perspective and one that is beneficial to them. As you see, we have the owl looking this way and the giraffe looking this way, and both of them can look very high up into a situation because a giraffe has a long neck and an owl can fly. So to me, it feels like they're seeing all sides of the coin. They're seeing all of the faces of the dice. The 6 faces of a die. So yeah, it's like they're seeing everything a lot clearer and a lot better because their understanding of themselves and their situation is clearer, I guess. Then we have the Buffalo Spirit. The abundant universe will provide. So I think this one, the buffalo and the cow, kind of go together in this case. Like it doesn't feel much more. It doesn't necessarily feel like advice right now. Like these two cards, like this one so far, it doesn't really feel as advice. It kind of feels like it's a promise. Like it feels like whatever life is promising to Red Velvet, it's going to happen because they're going to make sure it happens. So it's kind of like written in destiny, or it's written in the cards that or it's written in the stars that Red Velvet will succeed and is going to do very good this 2021, because it feels like life is working very, very, very hard to make sure that that's exactly what happens. Next, we have the Otter Spirit. You are never alone. So I think the higher knowledge that many of them may have gotten is that during very difficult times, which is something that we got in their career, right? This whole thing about being connected, being together, working together, helping each other heal. So it feels like there's this sense of togetherness, this sense of working together, partnership, union, this sense of companionship. And I have another word in mind. Camaraderie? Ooh, I hope I said that right. But, basically just working together. So there's this, and also 4 + 2 is 6, and that told me balance. So there's a lot of balance between people. So it's relationships and connections of equal give and take. So they're very healthy relationships. And I feel that that's what helped many of them go through it. Because if you notice, all of these 3 cards look very similar in colors. Orange, a little bit of a very dark black. So then we have the Electric Eel Spirit. Bring your ideas to life. So I do feel that since life has been telling all of Red Velvet, we promise you, it's almost already happened. Right, it almost already happened, that we're giving you all of these good things. Your comeback is going to be successful, it's going to do great. It feels like all of them are understanding things a little bit better, or whatever the situation is. But bring the ideas to life tells me that that's the action many of the Red Velvet members have to do right now. Start putting a little bit of their own flavors, red flavor, all of their flavors into their comeback, all of their skills, to put them to work together and make things happen. And if not, at least for themselves, right? At least for themselves. And a lot of blue. So communication is essential and super, super duper important for Red Velvet, because we had Aquarius and Libra in the second question that we answered here. So yeah, it feels like communication is very important, and it feels that many of them are going to have a very healing moment for everyone. The next card is the Antelope Spirit. Life is speeding up. So I do feel that right now, I guess the advice, or in a way, even a warning, is to tell Red Velvet things are going to start moving very quickly in comparison to 2020. So keep that in mind and start working, right? Get things done, get ready, prepare yourself for the unexpected, prepare yourself to be very centered into their own energy, because changes are going to be happening like crazy and very quickly. And the last card that we have is the Bee Spirit. Sweet results await. So this one kind of goes with this one, right? So let me move this. So it feels like the Cow Spirit, the Buffalo Spirit, and the Bee Spirit are all saying, look, Red Velvet, you're about to get a bunch of gifts, blessings, miracles, abundance, and candy. Because sweet results. So yeah, a lot of good things are awaiting Red Velvet right now. And here it tells me that they've been doing the hard work. They've been in union. They've been working together. They've been seeing things a lot clearer for themselves. And because of that, a lot of good things are happening for them. And because of all of this, all they had to do is accept the gifts life wants to give them, work with the skills that they have in the environment they're in, with the energy that they have, because things are going to be moving so quickly that the best thing they can do is just continue to prepare themselves for the unexpected. Because I do feel that when life wants to give you something, it doesn't really care how you're going to get it. You're going to get it anyway, right? So if anything, the best way to do it is just to be ready and take action when they have to, or where it's time, or when it's ready, or whenever it's the right time to take action. Because as we saw in the first part of the reading, the first question, if they don't take action when life is like, we set everything up, go for it, then they will have to go through another cycle of that same difficult thing. So next time when the opportunity comes again, they will not be blinded and they will see it and take it. So that's kind of what I see for Red Velvet for this 2021. We will have a comeback, and it's going to be a very emotional time for everyone. A time to connect, a time to be together, a time to work together. So that's kind of like the biggest thing. It seems like everyone is going through their own things. Some better, some taking changes a little bit better than others. Some have done the work for themselves, while others are still going through it. It's still very difficult. And what is the other thing that happened? And it seems like everyone's going to be very successful individually for their career, and because of that, it's going to be very good for the whole group to continue succeeding and doing well for themselves. And if SM ever watches this, all I'm saying is Red Velvet will give you big bucks, lots of money this 2021, in case you wanted to know that. And for all the fans, it's going to be a very happy moment for all the Red Velvets in the world, because you will see a lot of Red Velvet happiness, succeeding, and just comeback, right? So yeah, I'll leave that there. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. And all I have to say is thank you to all the Red Velvets watching my videos. You guys are always out there giving me all those views, all those likes, and all of those beautiful comments as well of how much you love the girls, and even your own theories and stuff of, your own interpretations of my readings. And I appreciate all of that, and I'm very thankful and grateful for all of that. And I never really knew when to say this, but I guess the group reading was the ideal video. And of course at the ending, so if anyone actually got to the ending, well, thank you for getting to the ending, and also thank you for everything else, right? Yeah, I think 2021 is going to be a very good year for everyone. Not necessarily easy, just good. Better. So yeah, I will see you guys on the next one, whichever next video I do of Red Velvet, you will see it, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you like it, and I think it's gonna be very soon. So yeah, thank you for everything, and love and blessings from me to you. See you on the next one. Bye. Since my setup is different, I don't even know where to put my cards. I'm just here like,